Back in 2019, my own marriage hit a breaking point, really. I was working myself to death, one project after another, probably about 9 days of work a week. I was going back and forth from New York to LA. And I remember coming home one day and my wife was really like, I feel like your roommate and I'm kind of operating like you don't even exist anymore. That experience gave me a wake-up call. It really did. It gave me a wake-up call. And I really don't want anybody else to ever reach this point. You can rebuild your career, but it's really hard to rebuild the relationships that you have. And so in today's episode, I want to talk about 6 things we can do to strengthen your relationships while you're building a lasting career in the post-production sound industry. Hey friend, welcome to Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel. I'm a Emmy-nominated sound re-recording mixer, and for the past year, I've been sharing videos here on YouTube designed to empower you to navigate, believe, and thrive in the post-production sound industry. Today, we're getting personal. We're talking about relationships. And so, like I alluded to at the beginning of the video, I reached a point in my relationship where work was just too much and something had to happen. And as I look back, what we do in this industry, the amount of time that we spend away from our families, you can kind of think of it as sort of like a cycle. It goes in cycles. There are moments in our careers, and I'll speak for myself, right? Maybe you can identify with this, but in my career, there have been seasons where I'm working all the time. And then there have been seasons where I don't work as much. And then there have also been moments and times where, you don't work at all. And it's almost like you feel like sometimes you're working a part-time seasonal job, right? It's like, or like a teacher schedule, 9 months on, 3 months off, something like that. But really, when I go back to 2019, when I was constantly away, I am reminded of one, the pain, right? The pain of like, oh God, nobody likes and enjoys to have stress in their relationship, right? But also, what can I pass along to you that might help you strengthen your relationship so you don't have to go through and be another statistic and a number? So I want to give you 6 things that you can do and think about that are going to help you in your relationship, especially while you're building your career, wherever you are. You could be early on in your career or later. The first thing that I want to stress an importance on is that connection is key. And mind you, as I share these things with you, I got permission to share these stories about what my wife and I got through from my wife. And I even asked her input, what was important and what she thinks. She's been around the post-production sound industry as well for just as long too. And so it was very key that I got her input as well. So the first one being connection, right? Well, for me, and I want to give you the hope right away, like we've made it. We just celebrated 20 years, my wife and I, right, of marriage. And I'm of the mindset that in a relationship, if something's broken, right, you don't go out and go buy a new thing. You fix it, right? You fix it. And so for my wife and I'm very grateful that we went through that hard time because it made us think about where we are. It made me think about priorities, what I need to do, and really it takes both of us. It takes a team, right? So wherever you are in your relationship with your partner, your spouse, know that these 6 things are designed to help give you the best advantage you can. Of course, I know that there's always an exception to the rule, and I get that sometimes there are some things that you just can't get past, and I get that. But with the first point being that connection is key for me and my wife, I know that one of the big things for us was something as simple as writing letters, right? My wife loves words, right? Encouraging words, thoughtful words, and whether that is by writing a letter, just saying, I love you, or I'm thinking about you, I miss you during this crazy time. Because again, let's say we're in this time, it's nuts. How do we get through these periods, right? Well, something by staying connected in that way with a letter, a note, a thoughtful text, right? These little gestures of communication go a long way with our loved ones, showing that we care, right? And especially during a time when we're busy. So connecting in one of these ways is such an important thing. So find what works for you. But number one, connection. It's a very important thing. I highly recommend it. Number two is learn their love language. The 5 love languages came from, I believe, an author named Gary Chapman, right? He wrote this book on the love languages. And the idea is that we either show love or give love in these languages. And the better that we can connect with those with our partner, with our spouse, those we love, the more we can communicate that and the more we feel connected and loved. And so those 5 love languages are, in no particular order, these: words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and gift giving or receiving gifts, right? So one of the ways that you can work at building your relationship, especially when you're going through crazy stuff like, post schedules from hell, right? We're mixing all the time. You're gone, away from your family, away from your loved ones, is to find out what their love language is, right? You can go online, and I might even I'll leave a link below you can go take a love language test, but discover what it is. For my wife, it was words of affirmation, right? And so if your partner, your spouse, has a love language like that, you have no idea the power and the life that you are going to speak into your partner by giving him those words, especially if they're a words of affirmation person. Or if you're going like crazy and one of their love languages is gift giving, finding a little something at the store on the way home after a long mix, right? Grabbing their favorite little ice cream, or maybe their chocolate, or maybe they like flowers, or if you're on the opposite side, maybe you're into book reading or something, something that's not related to eating or something like that. Like, give a little something that just makes them feel like you care. It could be quality time. Maybe it's just taking 15 minutes to do something, like just sitting next to them and say, hey, how was your day? It was really hard. Oh, tell me more about that. Like, what was it really hard? Hold space for them, and for some of us, it's physical touch. Maybe it's, and it doesn't have to, doesn't always have to lead to other stuff, if you know what I mean. It's just, a warm embrace, such a touch. Want to, hold your hand or rub your feet, things like that. Depending on what it is, and you can find out what that is for you, it's really important, more important to find out what it is for your partner. That's a big way. So find your love language. Learn what the love language of your partner, spouse is. Because when you connect with those on a daily, they can really take the lack of time, especially when we're on the dub stage all the time. And it's like depositing little buckets, coins in the bucket rather. So that's the second one. Number 3 is seek help when needed. And I cannot emphasize enough the power of therapy. My wife and I, you better believe we got therapy, and that began a wonderful journey for us. Just therapy is, I think for a long time there was, at least when I was growing up, people didn't see therapists. It was almost like you're weak-minded maybe, or, only people who are really, really, not doing okay need therapy. Friend, I am just a huge fan of therapy. I'm like, why did I take so long to start therapy in my life? So if the relationship is really at a place, it may need help like that. It may need professional, an outsider to give an experience and a strength that you may not have and that you may need to navigate some of these challenges, especially while you're trying to build a career in the industry and also being torn. So seek that help when needed. There's nothing wrong with it. And I highly, highly, highly recommend therapy. We have a joke. My wife and I joke, we've always joked, it's like, forget college funds. We're going to need therapy funds for our kids, growing up. But, have a college fund too. That's great too. But seek help when needed. Number 4 is make the little moments matter. You know, this could be something as simple as having a home date or playing cards. My wife and I will always carry a deck of cards. She has a deck of cards that she would keep in her purse, her bag, and I would have a deck of cards that I'd keep in my car. And so if we were out and we had a moment to grab a cup of coffee, or if we happened to be, at a restaurant, we would pull out those deck of cards and we would just play something. So it doesn't have to be something big at all. It could be like saying, hey, I'm home after a long day. Can I make you some tea? Maybe you're a tea drinker. That'd be lovely. And just sit and have tea and connect, as long as it's meaningful, it could be something as awesome and cool, maybe like going out having fancy dinners. Go do that, Really, all that matters is that you're showing up for the other person, because I'm telling you, like, the stress of the schedules, right? We feel that. But on the other side, our partners feel that too, right? They feel us being away. And so it sometimes doesn't have to be grandiose or big. It could be small. And that's something that really we learned along the way. The small moments matter. Make those matter. Number 5, I love this one. This was actually all my wife, because she remembered when we were kind of going through everything. She said, do you remember when I asked you if we could laugh together? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. So number 5 is laugh together. Find ways to bond through laughter. The other night, I was just something was really, really funny, and I just let myself laugh. And I was remembering the healing power of laughter. Like, I don't know when was the last time you laughed? Like, really, really laughed, right? Just to do it. It's really energizing to the soul, right? It's very, very powerful. So whether that means you watch a funny show together, share a joke or something, maybe it's like watching like a comedy thing or something, find a way to lighten the mood, right? Because the times are already hard enough, right? If you're going through crazy schedules trying to balance relationships in the industry, you're going to want those little wins. So go for that little win of laughing together. That's a really, really fun one, and something that definitely helped us along the way. The 6th and final thing that you can do to help strengthen your relationship while you are building a career in the post-production sound industry is carve out time and schedule it. Nothing says you're important like scheduling that time, because I don't know about you, but I have a lot of calendar dates, whether it's a spotting session, a mix session, meet with this producer, director, these people, these salespeople, whatever it is, right? But something that might make your partner feel really connected and seen is actually putting that time aside and also saying, hey, I can't do it that time because I have time with my wife, with my spouse, my partner. So put it in the calendar, right? Be intentional about it, right? In busy seasons, even the smallest amount of time like this that is set aside can go a really long way. So I highly encourage you to be intentional about actually putting that time and dedicating that time, setting it aside and saying, hey, we're going to do this during this time. I think it's a really important thing. It's something that I've learned along the way. And as I kind of look back, I hope that these 6 ways can help you, right? As you navigate crazy busy times in your relationship. I'm telling you from firsthand experience, like, it doesn't feel good when you're in the pits, when you realize, oh man, like, I got to do something. But If we want our relationships to thrive, we have to be intentional, I'm messing up my words, intentional about putting effort and time into them. The industry's crazy and we can get overwhelmed, but we never want to let the pursuit of success in the industry to overshadow the relationship with our loved ones. If you're struggling right now to find a balance in your relationship, that these 6 suggestions can help you find a better footing and really can help strengthen your relationship. So if you found this video helpful, friend, please let me know in the comments. It's a very personal thing to talk about, and it's something that not a lot of us talk about in the industry. So if you're in a place where you're wanting to strengthen your relationship while you navigate the industry and build a career for yourself, I highly recommend that you make these a priority in your life and in your relationship. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. And before I let you go, friend, did you know that 57% of the people that watch these videos here on Mastering Post-Production Sound are not subscribed to the channel? So if that's you, I want to invite you to click that subscribe button right now. Also, click that little notification bell so that you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Friend, thanks again for having this conversation. Again, we work in a crazy industry, and you better believe that our relationships are impacted. So it is really important for us to pour into our relationships and be intentional if we want them to last. Thanks again, friend. I will see you in either one of these videos or in next week's episode.